Welcome to Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada. We have traveled very far, just a mere 2,000 feet from the Motorsports Park Speedway to the Motorsports Park proper for the longest road course event of the 2018 season, the Clarington 24/7. We unfortunately have to start talking about that massive brawl in the pit lane in the aftermath of the Motorsport 200 a week ago, where the crew of the number 18 car of Mac Henley essentially jumped the 99 crew in the garage after the race due to the incident Henley and Abbott had, where Abbott merged into Mac Henley during the race, which is something the two drivers hashed out between themselves, but the crews were not happy, and we essentially had an absolute royal rumble of a brawl in the pit lane. There were helmets, stools, things thrown around everywhere. It was a mess, and since actions warrant reactions and punishments must match the offenses, the North American Auto Club officials threw the book at both teams. The 18 and the 99 teams have been fined $15,000, which some people have said and have argued very vocally that it is way too little. However, I'll throw my 2 cents into this and consider that this is the first time both crews have been involved in something of this scale. I understand the restraint. At the same time, however, 2 crew members, one from each team, have been suspended for this race and the next race in Flemington, New Jersey, and 7 crew members in total between both teams were also fined $2,000 a pop. Plus, both crew chiefs have been suspended for this race. So Michelle Price and Chris Goodman will not sit atop the pit boxes of the 18 and the 19 and the 99 respectively. Neither team appealed the decision, and honestly, given all that transpired, why would they? That would be honestly an insult to the series, an insult to the fans, an insult to everybody involved. Now, changing the subject to something livelier, in the fact that this is the 3rd leg of the Legacy Cup, and entering this race we have a triple tie for the lead in the average finishes, with Charlie Faulkner leading by a tiebreaker, given he's the only one in the top 3 that has won a Legacy Cup race, and he's ahead of Robert Burton and Jamal Schmidt. So this fight for the 200 points across this summer is in a very high summer heat, and I have my doubts this is gonna cool down before we finish Pocono. Also, leaving the Toronto Motorsport doubleheader, Kendra Brittany became the 3rd rookie to win a race in this season. So we have matched the amount of newbies that won races as last year, which were 3. But here's the thing. The first rookie winner of 2017 was Blake Chandler, the runner-up in the championship. He took until July to win that first race in Montmagny, the final race in Canada of last year, while Allison Smith became the first rookie winner of 2018. Her first win came on May 20th in Ohio. The last 2 rookie winners of last year were Ryan Faulkner in the Talladega Duels and Vernon Hargrove in the Try Hard 500. So their wins came only in November. Joey Anderson won his first race in June, and Kendra Brittany has won her race in July 19th. That means, so you have an idea, the Montmagny race in 2018 was in July 22nd. So we already matched last year's record before Blake Chandler completed 1 year since his first North American Auto Club win. Would you look at that? So if we play with the numbers a little bit, I say the numbers favor a 4th rookie winner before the end of the season. And maybe if we get 2 rookie winners, we actually match the record of the modern era of the North American Auto Club of 5 rookie winners in one season. These are stories for the next chapters of this long book of the 2018 Challenge Series. I believe we already talked extensively about the news, so let's jump into today's race. Here's how they line up for the Clarington 24/7. Taking the pole position here in Mosport is one of the drivers in the Fay Legacy Cup battle, Robert Burton, Canada's very own big barnstormer, one of the greatest names in Canadian auto racing, starts at the pole position. Sharing the front row with him is another very experienced road course driver. Stan Gustafsson starts on the outside of the front row. On row number 2, we got Jamal Schmidt, Burton's direct contender for the Fay Legacy Cup, with Mac Henley from Schaumburg, Illinois, the former series champion, the last series champion to win it as a rookie. If we're talking about rookies so much, he starts the race in the 4th position. Row 3 is the other contender in the Fay Legacy Cup. Its leader right now, the championship leader, Charlie Faulkner in the 85 Toyota, while Lucia Harper, the 3rd Shield Motorsports car, begins the race in the 6th position. Then we got Thomas Tucker in the Ashcroft number 9, Joey Anderson in the 03 looking for his 2nd win of the year, a 2nd on a road course that is, with defending series champion Rebecca Pellerin sharing the 5th row with 2015 series champion Corbin Dempsey, her direct predecessor in activity. Kelly Ashcroft retired, so the 2017 champion, Rebecca Pellerin, 2015 champion, Corbin Dempsey. Row 6 is her older brother by 3 years, Luke Pellerin, sharing row number 6 with Tammy Barnton, and right behind Tammy is directly her older sister, Lucy. On her inside is Hibiki Murata, another known road course property. On row number 8, we got Ryan Faulkner with Brett Finley. A very good qualifying effort for 2 drivers that we know are short trackers. They are not road course ringers. And Ryan Faulkner has said that he wants to have a real win. He won he won the duel at Talladega, and he won a preempted race in Dover due to rain. He wants to win one that he gets to see the checkered flag under green flag conditions, and I think that one's coming sooner than later. On row number 9, we got Emily Pauvin, the driver for HQS Racing. HQS Racing, we have a couple of news that could come around about that team in the next few weeks. I'm not going to spoil you about it. With Kevin Daly, another big Canadian hope, starting in the 18th position. 19th, another great Canadian name, Lily Briscoe, a driver that is not a driver. If we recall correctly, she comes from extreme sports, and she had a very extreme spill at Daytona earlier this year, sharing the 10th row with Ashley Richardson, a short tracker that did not have the best qualifying effort on a road course. On row 11 is the Prince of Trois-Rivières, Riley McKee, with Joey Thorkson, a super speedway specialist on row 11, kicking off the second half of the starting grid. Ruby Carson and Lee Schmidt share row number 12, with row 13 being British Tony Hart and Kate Taylor, bringing all 3 Luke Star cars into this race. So a very good result for the Canadian crew. On row 14, another big name Canadian, another traditional Canadian from the series, Kristen Young in the 33, with Catherine Ashcroft in the 66. Row 34, not so good qualifying effort for English woman Megan MacDonald. She's the road course specialist of Ernest Ruse Racing. However, she just did not have a good time at all in qualifying. Likewise, Canadian-American Challenge legend Craig McLean in the 2nd Zach Tech car, the number 30, but he's a short tracker through and through, so we weren't expecting him to get the pole position. Let's be honest here. Row 16, we got Caitlin Richler And then Boyd Abbott, without the crew chief, you can see how much he suffered. Differently from Mac Haley, but Mac Haley is very experienced. Mac Haley knows how to deal with pressure. This is Boyd Abbott's second season in the series. On row 17, we got Dan Wright and Warren Majeski, two drivers that have gotten very popular for being very scrappy young guys that are trying to just make it through. And they qualify for this race. They don't have provisionals. They had to battle to make their way in. Both are short trackers. We weren't expecting them to be in the fight to qualify at all. On row 18, we got Tegan Robertson and Ron Samples. Ron Samples, who made the headlines in the last couple of weeks over the possibility that he may retire from full-time activity without very much of a send-off and just transition to owning the number 7 car full-time, as he has been an owner driver for the last few years. We'll see what happens. Row 19, Las Vegas winner Peter Johnson with Scott Overton. The traditional Overton family gets all their three main cars into the race, the 36, the 62, and the 23, while bringing the rear of the field through the usage of provisionals are Kendra Brittany, who had a very bad qualifying effort. She did a 146 lap. To qualify, you had to do a 144. And Saul Pritchett from Prince George, British Columbia in the number 8. He's been driving the 8 car in the Canadian events. Failing to qualify for the Clarington 24/7, you see in the order in which they failed to qualify: Allison Smith, the winner in Ohio, and Creeper Stevenson for Expansion Motorsports, Peter Johnson's teammate, both got knocked out by the provisional recipients, Brittany and Pritchett. Then you have Joyce Clements and Nami Tachibana not having the speed, Marcy Crawford, Athena Whitley, Ethan Collins, you see right there. So Kendra Brittany and the whole of New England Auto Technologies, they did not have a neat weekend at all after their first team win at the Greater Toronto Area Speedway. What a way to whiff it. The fourth Overton Motorsports car with Chris Endicott also fails to qualify. In the second page, Patricia Stage and Kendra Hendrick for Leslie Stage failed to qualify. Vern Hargrove, another very disappointing weekend for the 28 crew. They've been having a very difficult adaptation season with the Modified Cup Series driver. And we did hear that he was talking very extensively with Ashley Richardson and Allison Smith after qualifying. He had the best description I had of Vernon Hargrove's condition is that he had seen 15 ghosts and he was shell-shocked after failing to qualify again. Behind them, bringing the rear of the non-qualifiers, were Rick Lewis and Lynn Hodges. Now let's talk about just the general race facts. This race is going to be 247 miles, 397 kilometers, 100 laps to the number. We expect the fuel window to be 36 to 40 laps, but have you seen the weather? Have you paid attention? It is raining, which means we are starting with wet tires, which means tire wear is gonna be a factor, which means we are probably not gonna do a complete fuel run until the weather improves. If it improves. And to complete it, Mosport Park is a 2.4 mile road course, a very winding road course with an elevation change of around 170 feet. The longest straight is that back straightaway that is technically also a turn, but the North American Auto Club classifies it as a whole straight with just a little bend. And the track is 8 turns to the right, 4 turns to the left, so the right side tires are going to suffer quite a bit compared to the left side tires, especially in the rain, with the spray, with the poor visibility. This one is going to be a very interesting race. You see there the green flag is in the air and Gustafson already has a better jump than Burton. As they come to the outside, you see how strong the rain is early. And they've already made contact in turn number 1. Robert Burton shoves Gustafson out of the way and out of the way early, and Burton's gonna clear the 95. McHenley and Jamal Schmidt battling for the third position. You see Lucia Harper and Charlie Faulkner. Faulkner forces an almost 3 wide to take the 5th position from the 79, and a couple of corners later as they exit the Quebec corner, you see how the 85 is chasing down the 55. That's a direct battle for the Fay Legacy Cup, and Faulkner already is gonna take the 4th position, going for 3rd place against McHenley. You see how Joey Anderson's in the fight right there. Thomas Tucker and Lucia Harper battling side by side. There's a land rush coming to the back straightaway. You see how Charlie Faulkner is gonna go on the outside of the S's. He's gonna have the preferred line on the final corner at White's corner. Is it enough? It will be enough, and Charlie Faulkner already becomes the third place driver, and he continues to chase down the rest of the top 2, which are Gustafson and Burton. Burton continues to lead, but not by much. Not by much at all. As you see there, how Faulkner is right on the rear end of the 95, coming now the Clarington corner into Quebec. The 85 again on the outside. What a move, full of daring do. And that's what happens when the veteran got the hints to do it. Charlie Faulkner takes the 2nd position on the outside. Joey Anderson is going to take 4th from McHenley as they enter the back straightaway. And Charlie Faulkner already trying to make the move on the 23 for the leader side by side. Coming to the top of the back straightaway. And the 85 has more speed. However, the 23 gets a little bit more as they come down to the corner before the entrance of the S's. Is it enough? Faulkner almost gives a bump to the 23 side by side. And just like how he took 3rd place, he's gonna make a move for the lead, and it is gonna work swimmingly. Charlie Faulkner is your new leader. He gained 5 positions in 2 laps. A little bit further back, 5th place, McHenley goes wide in the S's. He hits the grass. He bounces into the 9 of Thomas Tucker, back end directly into the tire barrier, and McHenley in bother early. Further back than that, Kevin Daly goes off wide. He gets together with a 43, Ali Schmidt. He spins around Ashley Richardson. Hits the 83. They were battling for the 18th position. Richardson was running in 19th, and she had nowhere to go. We're going to ride with her. As you see there, the 83 goes wide. When he tries to get back, he gets together with a 43. The 58 tried to go to the grass to miss the 83, and the door just closed. Ashley Richardson and Kevin Daly will be the last 2 drivers in the running order. They're the first retirements of this afternoon, this very rainy afternoon early. Robert Burton and Joey Anderson battling for the 2nd position, and Joey Anderson's gonna make mincemeat of the Canadian legend. And Joey Anderson's now 2nd place, starting to try to chase down Charlie Faulkner, because if, as you can see, Charlie Faulkner has essentially vanished. He has ran away with the 1st position on lap number 6. The 89 of Ryan Faulkner and Lucia Harper get together. A little bump by the 89 of the 79. They make contact again. And there goes Lucia Harper hard into the wall. Big contact. What did you do there, Ryan? What were you doing right there? Let's ride together with him as they exit the corner. Lucia Harper was a little bit wide. She washed up across the 89, and then as they came down to Clarington corner, the 89 just dumped the 79. And if you think I'm flabbergasted, the officials are too. And this will warrant a post-race investigation. Charlie Faulkner continues to lead, and he's opening a large gap. The 9 has blown up. Thomas Tucker up in smoke. He was running inside the top 10, and he's done for the afternoon early, and that is a bad result for a prospective title contender. McHenley, Lee Schmidt going to the pits together with Kevin Daly. As Kevin Daly retires from the race, they're the first 2 drivers to go into the pit road to change tires. Hibiki Murata right now in the 52, having a very solid run in 13th place, trying to gain positions, trying to make up the difference on Lucy Barton. Right behind her is the French woman, Emilie Pauvin. She races regularly on the All-Star Series Canada division, and right behind her, another regular in the Canada division, Lily Briscoe in the 36, and then Riley McKee there running in the 17th spot. In the 16th spot, Rebecca Pellerin battling with Corbin Dempsey and Ryan Faulkner after Ryan Faulkner went wide after that contact with Lucia Harper. So Becky Pellerin and Corbin Dempsey battling for the 7th spot. Ryan Faulkner right there in 8th place. And you see they're trying to chase down the 55 of Jamal Schmidt. Lucia Harper goes wide, and she hits the tire barrier, tagged by the 96 of Tony Hardy, the assist, and the 96 slides right in front of the 66 of Catherine Ashcroft. And that is the first caution. 9 laps in, a bad miss of the breaking point. The 79 slid off after aquaplaning. The contact patch in those tires just went away. Tony Hart went wide trying to miss it, and then he just gets struck hard by the 66. A big spill there. As you look at the number 66, she starts slowing down, but there's just no way to prevent aquaplaning. She just strikes the 55 directly, as Harper also ends up buried in the tire barriers. And that is going to warrant a series. That's going to warrant the interest of the pace cars. You see everybody coming into the pits. No one's going to avoid pitting, mostly because of the tires. Everybody's going to get a new set of rain tires, and we're going to see what happens from there on. We expect the rain to continue at more or less this pace for a little while. It eased up on how stronger it was. You see how the running order doesn't change much, aside from Rebecca Pellerin and Jamal Schmidt swapping positions, and Luke Pellerin and Brett Finley gaining positions, while Corbin Dempsey lost 2 spots. And then Robert Burton has a problem with the lug nut went loose on that car. Likewise with Rebecca Pellerin. They both have lug nuts loose, and they both have to pit, while a few other cars take the chance to also go into the pits and fill up on gas to restart behind those faster cars. You see the 52, the 02, the 36, 22, 30, and 71, and number 1 all pit to fill up the tank and restart behind those 2 much faster cars. They don't want to risk a battle for position like that when they're against 2 former series champions. The green flag is out on lap number 13. Charlie Faulkner leads away, and he leads away very calmly. Tammy Martin finds herself in the 3rd position given the contacts that happened earlier, but Stan Gustafson already puts it side by side for the 3rd position. Not enough as they come down Clayton. And you see how the 03 keeps the 85 at arm's length, but there's just not enough to cook, at least for now. Mac Henley battling with Rebecca Pellerin, and you see how the 18 cars running in 22nd with the rear end all kicked up, and Becky Pellerin much faster. And there she goes for the 22nd position, chasing down the 43 of Lee Schmidt for the 21st position, trying to get back into the top 20, and she could pretty much do it very quickly. You see there Scott Overton ahead of the 43, Robert Burton chasing down the 18. At the end of the lap, Becky Pellerin is gonna go force the 43 wide. The 43 slides back into the 27. They make contact. The 27 hits the 43. The 43 is upside down. How the 22, the 69 involved. 26 hits the 43. Massive crash. The 43 went upside down, and I don't know how. You see how the 43 goes wide, the 27 sees the space, they make contact there, and then Becky Pellerin hits the 43 again. The 2 wheels, the 2 right side wheels, and the 43 get a little bit out of the ground, and the 43 flips over. That's the 2nd massive flip we have on a road course. Riley McKee had nowhere to go, and Peter Johnson just ended up hitting the 43. As you see there, Peter Johnson picked the inside line, but then the 22 hit the 43. Massive hit, all 4 wheels in the air, and the 69 also eliminated early. Kendra Brittany was able to brake to prevent the worst. As you see there, the 43 ends up sliding towards the path of the 26, and she has a lot of damage, but not damage that is race ending like in the case of the 22, the 43, and the 69. You watch it in slow motion. You see how they just make contact on the exit of the corner. The 43 slides, and then the 27 ends up losing control, hitting him again. The 2 right side wheels get air, and then air just gets under that car, and the car just rolls over very slowly. It just weight shifts. The 22-69 hit it directly. The 39 almost gets involved massively. 71 had to slow down to miss that crash. A massive crash, and we only had 1 lap under green flag racing. And as such, you see there Lucy Martin, Kristen Young, Meg McDonald, Scott Overton. I believe there Mac Henley also takes this chance to pit. Emily Pauvin as well. Becky Pellerin for the damage. That is as much as obvious as can be. And Boyd Abbott ran over some debris on the pace laps after the caution came out. And that's going to be a tire puncture on the 99. And Boyd Abbott is now forced to go into the pits, and he's going to have to restart at the back. Green flag is in the air, and Charlie Faulkner once again leads the way, trying to make something happen. There is Joey Anderson. Lucy Barton, Tammy Barton, his direct contender, the Rookie of the Year battle leader, is right behind him, which means this result is very good for Tammy, especially given the 26 of Kendra Brittany, the main threat for the driver of the 97, has damage and has had to restart at the back, as we are ready to complete 1/5 of the way through here in Bowmanville. As you see, the 03 keeping the 85 on the bumper very closely. As you see there, Jamal Schmidt running solidly in 6th place. This result still is not as good, because Charlie Faulkner leading away 2 wins would be a very dangerous result for the Fay Legacy Cup. But Jamal Schmidt, slower. He is very slow. Engine issue on the 55. And he's very slow. He cannot pit this time around. He's going to have to wait for the next lap. And as you see there, as he slows down to go to the pits, Mac Haley goes off wide and hits the wall and slides around. Jamal Schmidt does not pit. I thought he was going to pit this time around, but no, he's going to keep it on track. Mac Haley bangs the wall again. Another level of damage for the 18 car. Charlie Faulkner now opening a small gap by lap 22 on Joey Anderson, hanging on. Tammy Barton losing the 03, but the 89 keeping her very close vicinity. Then you have the 95 Stan Gustafson battling with a 15 of Brad Finney. Quite a good result. Look, Pellerin goes wide, and that opens the chance for Corbin Dempsey to make a move. Is it going to work? Not enough. Not enough for a move for Corbin Dempsey. Corbin Dempsey trying to give a bump, but I thought he was going to give a bump to the 88 right there. The 26 of Megan McDonald heads into the pits early, and she's going for an undercut on tires. And the reason is because the rain is easing down and we already have a bit of a dry line forming up. She's going to try to get the slicks on, and she's going to fight with the slicks for at least the next couple of laps as the track dries and the rain continues to ease. As you see there how Stabler, the 85 and the 03 are, the 77 also. These are situations where the cars aren't sliding as much, and this means that these cars are hanging on very solidly. And both Shield cars running very well in 8th and 9th. Robert Burton gaining positions very slowly after having to pit on the first caution, late on the first caution. He was going to restart inside the top 5. He's now 18th, trying to work his way forward by the time we hit lap number 28. And you see there, Charlie Faulkner, sorry for the confusion, Charlie Faulkner and Joey Anderson. Joey Anderson caught the 85 of Charlie Faulkner, trying to make a move as Faulkner goes a little bit wide on the exit of Moss as they come into the back straightaway, but it's not enough. However, Anderson is trying to use that draft. He's trying to use the draft to see if he can pull a move as the dry line continues to establish itself. And we expect that by lap 30, the track might be not completely dry, but enough for these guys to pit for dry tires and have a run on dry tires. And you see how they're battling, but the 03 just cannot find an opening against Charlie Faulkner, so he's gonna have to wait for the new tires to see what he can do. Maybe try to pull a strategical coup. Kendra Brittany also decides to undercut at the end of lap number 28, and she's gonna go into the pits and get a new set of slick tires, while Anderson continues to try to chase down Faulkner, but he can't quite make it. He's just not close enough to make the move work. And that is starting to get on his nerves, because Faulkner has been very consistent. Even when he goes wide, his consistency on the other sectors of the track kind of offsets the losses he has on a few corners. Warren Majeski, tire down on the number 1. He was running solidly in 21st place, and he's gonna be forced to do an undercut. He goes into the pits. So him, McDonald, and Kendra Brittany are going to be on a different tire cycle, and that's going to be interesting. Anderson once again tries to make a move happen as we look at lap number 30. You see the gap, the length of the gap that Anderson and Faulkner have opened to Tammy Barton, Ryan Faulkner. Faulkner also cannot make the move on the number 97. A very difficult run. You see there Brett Finley running in 5th place. And you can see how Finley continues to open a large gap to the people that come right behind him. You see how the track is essentially empty for that little while until Stan Gustafsson appears with Luke Peller and Corbin Dempsey, Ruby Carson, Joy Thorson having a very good run there, and Kay Taylor in tow. So by this point, the field is very much spread out, which is the nature of rain racing. It's hard to keep a very close pace, very close quarters. There goes the 95, the 88, the 77. The number 2 into the pits, it's 52 as well, Murata, Tegan Robertson, Craig McLean, Rob Burton, Lucy Barton, Kristen Young, Becky Peller, and Lexi Percy, and then right, everyone in there goes to the pits. They're gonna try to undercut the people that are ahead as we enter lap number 31. Ryan Faulkner continues to battle with Tammy Barton as they come into the entrance of the S's. Is it enough? Doesn't look like it is. Barton side by side. On the outside is going to be Faulkner. And Faulkner is going to nail the move down. He gets the nose ahead just a little bit, but Barton gets a good launch of the corner, but it's not enough. Further back, Ronnie Samples aquaplanes off into the tire barrier. A bit of a hit there as he slides down. He was in 11th place in the middle of the pit cycle. Boyd Abbott has to slow down. He almost spins on his own. And now he goes into the pits. At the same time, you see other cars there pitting. That's the second group that hits the pits, with Joey Anderson chasing down Charlie Faulkner as they have to lap the 02 and the 71. And that's also another thing, as the field spreads out, now we start getting lapped cars on track, even though these two have pitted, so the gap is more artificial than not, as the weather finally starts drying up and we no longer have rain. You can see that there's no more rain. So Joey Anderson goes into the pits. He tries to undercut Charlie Faulkner. And you see how Anderson goes into the pits very calmly, very easily on the next lap, lap number 33. The 55 of Jamal Schmidt's about to be lapped, so he picks to go to the pits, and Charlie Faulkner goes with him. And Charlie Faulkner heads into the pits. He actually lost quite a bit of time lapping a few of the cars. You see there, Ronnie Samples went to the pits, so he also fell a lap down. Now he recovers his lap. And Tammy Barton also elects the pit at the end of lap number 33. So we're 1/3 of the way through here in Mosport. Brett Finley running in 5th place. Still very good result for him. He elects to go into the pits as well. You see how Charlie Faulkner and Jamal Schmidt are changing the right side tires. And there goes Joey Anderson. Anderson actually does a very good lap. Very good out lap. And that's going to give him a large gap. A very large gap. Around 12 seconds. I was going to say 20. It's 12 seconds over Faulkner. And this is a very good moment for Joey Anderson. He needs to stay like this. He needs to see if he can keep the 85 at bay with these new tires and a dry track. Ryan Faulkner will be the last car to pit. So he ends up leading a lap. See, he ends up getting scored as having led 1 lap at the very least when he pits on the end of lap 34, start of lap 35. And then see Tammy Barton passes the 89, and she's going to open a large gap just like Joey Anderson opened against Charlie Faulkner. Tammy Barton now very safe in the 3rd position, which is a very good result for her efforts in the Rookie Challenge. So Pritchett and Lucy Barton battling right there for the 22nd position. Pritchett gives a bump to the 98, makes the move. Lucy Barton ended up actually washing to the right, and Pritchett just did not slow down. He goes wide now, and Barton's gonna recover the 22nd position. So they just revert to the status quo with Lucy Barton clearing the number 8. Further back in relation to the leaders, Megan McDonald did the undercut. The undercut's kind of working. She's now in 4th place, holding back the 95, the 15, and the 89, as she has older tires, so she's a little bit slower. But, oh no, what happened there? The 89 gets shot by the 88. We're going to have to see what happens there with Brett Finley and Megan McDonald. We're watching the 89, and the 89 blows up. The 95 gives a bump to the 34, who gets together with the 15. The 88 shoves the 89 into the tire barrier, and Ryan Faulkner was one of the prime contenders, and he is now in the tire barrier with a smoking car. Done for the afternoon. Luke Petterin just couldn't do anything there to miss the 89 as he swerved back in traffic. Brett Finley with a lot of damage. Megan McDonald with quite a bit of damage. Contact between the 15 and the 25. Brett Finley shoves Kay Taylor off-road. massive contact. The 34 braked just a little bit earlier, and the 95 wasn't ready for that. Bumped the 34 into the 15, and that's another big contact we have here on Clayton corner, which tends to be the corner where a lot of stuff happens alongside the S's. Joey Anderson continues to lead by a wide margin to Charlie Faulkner. His last lap was a 1:18.5 in dry weather, so he's still a little bit these laps are a little bit on the slower end. As you see there, the 89 driving back to the pits, so no caution, no debris on the racing line. So the officials are just going to keep it going as the 89 goes into the pits. We were talking about the undercut from Megan McDonald, but she wasn't the only one to undercut. We look at Charlie Faulkner as his last lap was a 1:18.86. So he is 0.3 slower than Joey Anderson in this early run. We're going to talk about the other undercuts on the next clip that you're going to see, because Warren Majeski and Kendra Brittany find themselves there in the 7th and 9th positions, as Caitlin Richler actually 7th and 10th, 8th and 10th positions actually, as Caitlin Richler is gonna pass the number 1 for the 9th spot, and Majeski jumped a lot, gained a lot of track position, which means these undercuts might have some strategic prowess for the lake runs. As you see there, Kendra Brittany having a very good run in the 8th position, goes a little bit wide, but not wide enough. Caitlin Richler chasing her down. Ruby Carson having a very solid run still in the 6th spot, chasing down Luke Pellerin and Stan Gustafson, who do not have a lot of damage from that contact with Megan McDonald and Ryan Faulkner. They're still keeping the same pace as they were before that. As you see there, Corbin Dempsey chasing down Hibiki Murata. He's running in 11th place. Hibiki Murata 10th, Warren Majeski 9th. And Brett Fillion 12th, despite the rear end of that car all kicked up. So Finley is trying to stay and keep his track positioning as much as he can to be able to, when he pits on cycle with everyone else, he comes back out on the same cycle. Tegan Robertson also working her way forward very slowly, very calmly, running in 17th place, having a very solid run. And we are expecting on the forecast another rain shower, so Megan McDonald's gonna go for the undercut on lap number 40, and that's gonna be very interesting to see. She's gonna change the rain tires, gonna run a couple of laps on dry weather, as Charlie Faulkner gets the chance, and he's slowly catching the 03 again. And we're having the last couple of laps under dry weather. Joey Anderson losing a little bit of time to Charlie Faulkner now as the tires come up, but he still has a very large lead, while Ruby Carson and Luke Pellerin battling for the 5th position side by side on the back straightaway. Carson trying to redeem herself after a series of contacts that resulted in a 50-point penalty when she dumped Joey Anderson at Dover. She ended up having a suspended penalty. It was a true race suspended penalty, which meant if she had 2 clean races, which were the doubleheader in Toronto and the Mosport Oval, she would no longer be liable for a 2 race suspension. And she's now back with a clean bill in the eyes of the officials. Kendra Brittany pits from the 12th spot, and she's going to change to the rain tires as well. This is going to be very interesting to see her do a couple of laps in the white wall tires. She's going to come out the pits very soon. We're watching all that pit as everyone goes by her. Joey Anderson takes the chance to put her a lap down. Caitlin Richler still running very solidly, very well in 8th place. Chased down by the 25 of Kate Taylor. Warren Majeski losing ground to the 25 as we open lap 44. And at the end of lap 44, Stan Gustafson, Luke Pellerin come in at the end of lap 45 as they're about to be lapped by the 03. Majeski also comes into the pits with Caitlin Richler. You see how the field passes them all. So Majeski now is going to be on the same cycle as everyone else as they change the rain tires as the showers begin once again. Joey Anderson about to lap the 7 and the 27. Could have been worse. Could have been a lot of trouble there because Charlie Faulkner is slowly catching out that the weather is wet. Joey Anderson lost around 4 seconds. Charlie Faulkner being able to wheel that car with the slick tires as the asphalt starts getting wetter and wetter. And there goes Joey Anderson to lap the 27. The 27 is inside the top 20, by the way. So these cycles are actually changing a lot of stuff. And Corbin Dempsey goes wide on the wet asphalt and buries it. In the tire barrier, Joey Torkson goes wide. Tegan Robertson goes wide. That is the third caution of the race. The 81 is in the tires. Joey Anderson gets us a reprieve from a hard-charging Charlie Faulkner as he goes into the pits. A lot of the field waves around because they already pitted. You see there how the running order after these pit stops is still Joey Anderson leading Charlie Faulkner, Tammy Barton, Brett Philly finds himself in fourth place, Ruby Carson, Boyd Abbott jumped a lot of positions there, I believe, or he's the lap down. We're gonna have to check that before the restart. But you see how the top three essentially is unmoved. And Ronnie Samples engine fails from the 7th position, and he is gonna be done for the afternoon right as the restart happens under wet weather. And indeed, Boyd Abbott's now inside the top 10 due to that intentional undercut this time around. And as you see, everybody goes wide. Look at how wide Tammy Barton goes as Brett Philly is gonna take the 3rd position. They go wide and slow. Further back, Robert Murphy into the back. Hibiki Murata head on into the wall. Big crash. They're gonna keep it going, but that's a bad juju to see Hibiki Murata get dumped on lap number 52. Brett Philly in 3rd place trying to chase down the 85 of Charlie Faulkner, Ruby Carson, and the 99 of Boyd Abbott losing ground to the 97. But they're battling amongst each other. Rebecca Pellerin in 7th place with the pit stop. And you see there further back a little bit, Stan Gustafsson running in 8th place. And Boyd Abbott's going to take the 5th position as they come down to the S's. Tegan Robertson currently running in 14th place after her pit stop. Look, Pellerin lost a couple of positions due to fixing some of the damage in the front panel as the rain continues here. Stan Gustafsson goes wide up front there, and Kate Taylor is going to take the position from him. But Tegan Robertson passes the 88. Very good run for the CJK Racing crew as Hibiki Murata is going to find herself dropping to the 20th position, the last car on the lead lap. Now she's going to be the first car a lap down. Without the front end of the car, she's going to be driving the modified in the rain. That doesn't bode well for some steering stability, as here comes Ruby Carson losing ground to the 99. You can see how the gap embiggened, while Joey Anderson continues to lead with a fairly wide margin to the 85 of Charlie Faulkner. Faulkner cannot make up the gap, but Joey Anderson doesn't care about the size of the gap. He cares that there is a gap overall in wet weather, because this shower we expected to be much shorter than the shower that opened the race, but it's still very heavy rain. And here you see Craig McLean running fairly well. They're up in 14th place, where Majeski dropped there to 15th, 16th, and dropping a little bit further. Mac Hanley recovering on this run despite the amount of damage in the rear end and the side of the car. Lucy Martin as well. Contact between Lucy Martin and Dan Wright on lap number 55. Dan Wright gets a bump to Lucy Martin as Lucy Martin shoves him out of the way, and they're gonna come to Quebec corner. As they enter Quebec corner, they're right into the back of the 98 as the 98 blocks him, and he dumps Lucy Martin. The officials are gonna take a look at that most definitely as you ride to see what happens there. Dan Wright, Lucy Martin washed into Dan Wright washed into Lucy Martin. They both went wide. He gave her another bump as Warren Majeski just takes the opportunity to scoot by and gain both of their positions. And then as they come into the Quebec corner, Lucy Martin blocks his line and he just dumps her. And both go wide. He tags the tire barrier a little bit. Lucy Martin spins around on that wet grass. They both get back going. We don't get a caution. We don't get anything else. As you see there, Kendra Brittany gaining the positions. Then Wright also very slow on track. Becky Pellerin running in around the 7th position now as of the last lap, running fairly well, all things considered, considering that she sent her informal teammate at Ernest Lewis Racing, Lee Schmidt, upside down and tumbling, and that dropped her to the back. So she's doing a recovery race in a very fast car. Let's get that out of the way. It's a very fast car, but you still need moxie. You still need to have a very hard-nosed style of racing to get back forward, and Becky Pellerin is just straight up precise. Running in 9th and 10th are Joey Torkson and Tegan Robertson, gaining with the rain tires. These two having very good runs. Joey Torkson is a driver that we're surprised to be having a good run in the rain, actually. He's a super speedway runner. He won the Try Hard 500. He won the race at New York last year. If he had qualified for Daytona, he would have been a shoo-in to win that race as well. Jamal Schmidt dropping, running further back, battling with Mac Henley. They're both outside the top 20 together with Luke Pellerin as they fall further behind. But Jamal Schmidt is a lap down, Luke Pellerin on the lead lap. They're both falling by the wayside. Megan McDonald running solidly there around the top 10, 20 hovering around it, the top 10 hovering around the top 10. And Jamal Schmidt, with that being lapped during the pit cycle and not being able to recover the lap or wave it around, that means he is going to lose a lot of ground in the Legacy Cup to Charlie Faulkner. Another driver that's going to be losing a lot of ground is Robert Burton. Though Burton is on the lead lap, Burton is running in 16th. Charlie Faulkner running in 2nd. Luke Pellerin now passes Craig McLean, and he aquaplanes a little bit, goes wide into the apron, into the wet grass. He slows down, swipes in front of Warren Majeski, and that's on you, Luke. That's on you, brother. He slides into the wall, right in the spot that there's no tire barrier yet, damages the side of that car, and he just decides to pit. He went wide, the weather's drying, he hit a wet patch, and that hurt him a lot. He's going to change for dry tires. Kendra Brittany also going for the undercut as she enters lap 60. Her and Luke Pellerin entered lap 60. Brittany is running in 19th. Craig McLean using the chaos in his favor, and he loses it on the wide turn. He's going to bury it in the tires. A lot of damage in the 30. He's going to go back, and he almost gets struck by the 33. The 02's also going to pit, and he goes into the pits. Joey Anderson takes the chance to lap the 98 of Lucy Barrington. As the asphalt begins to dry, he's going to stay on the wet tires as the rain showers have stopped. Lucy Barrington pits from the 18th position. And you see there she technically passes Craig McLean on the pits. You see there Robert Burton and Stan Gustafson on the pits as well. They fall a lap down to Joey Anderson. Brad Philly has successfully caught the 85 of Charlie Faulkner, so you have an idea of how slower they are with this heavier rain. This last lap was a 142 for Brad Finley. His fastest lap so far was a 119. So he legitimately lost on track, no take backsies, 22 seconds. And he's actually faster than the 85. Brad Finley, what a move on the outside entry of the back straightaway. Brad Finley now takes the 2nd position. Timmy Barton slowly catching the 85. And Joey Anderson's going to elect the pit on lap 62 after opening a very wide gap. And there he goes, the 33 pits right before she gets lapped. And you see there how the gap is so wide. And there comes in the 85 and the 15. They're not going to risk it. They're not going to try any funny business. And because they all stop together, you see there Warren Majeski is going to recover his lap. Luke Pellerin is going to recover his lap. Stan Gustafson's going to recover his lap. Everyone that pitted is recovering their laps. Caitlin Richler goes wide from 10th place. A big spill there, and she comes in as well. She's going to be forced to come in. And as they come out, Zach Tech right there, the 03 has the 30 a lap down. Joey Anderson back on dry tires with a large gap to boot once again. And you watch there as he starts to slowly catch the 33 of Kristen Young as they come down to Moss Corner. And you see there Becky Pellerin running solidly. Loose lockdown on the 27. The wheel falls from the 27 in 8th place. And that is going to bring a caution on lap 64 right after the pit cycle begins to conclude. And that is a lot of trouble. Caution is out. Becky Pellerin slow on the circuit, and the yellow flag is out. Craig McLean is going to recover his lap with Joey Anderson in the lead, and this is exactly not what Joey Anderson wanted because he just swapped into a fresh set of tires, but Charlie Faulkner did as well. Ruby Carson and Saul Pritchett choose to pit together with Lily Briscoe right there as well. That's a strategy called they undercut the field. Lucy Barrington has problems, engine failure on the 98. and she is gonna retire from 17th place. She was having a very difficult race, and it comes to unceremonious. And the 77 doesn't pit for an undercut, she pit for an engine failure, as well as I hear right now. And leading the field once again to the green is Joey Anderson. He's being chased down by the 85 of Charlie Faulkner, the 15 of Brett Finley right behind them. Charlie Faulkner recovered the second position, and as they come out of turn number 1, here comes Joey Anderson down to Clayton corner with the first position. And he goes a little bit wide. That's exactly what Charlie Faulkner needed to bridge the gap. Is it enough? Not enough to make a move, but he's very quick, very solid, running very well. But we are hearing again that the rain is approaching, and it's a fairly large corner, so we're gonna have a very short run on dry tires. You see how Charlie Faulkner makes the best use he can of them. He dives deep, makes the move, and Charlie Faulkner is going to try to get back on the lead. You watch the rear camera as Tammy Barton tries to make a move on the 15 of Brett Finley. Brett Finley successfully defends. Boyd Abbott running in the top 5. Tegan Robertson running in 6th place, side by side for the lead on the straightaway. Charlie Faulkner hits the bend, and Charlie Faulkner looking to hold the lead. And he does it, almost makes contact with the 03. Charlie Faulkner back in the first position, further back. Jamal Schmidt battling with Lily Briscoe for the 22nd position. They make contact there, and they are beating and banging on a road course like it's a short track. And Lily Briscoe gains the position, the 22nd position from Jamal Schmidt. Joey Anderson giving chase once again on the next lap to Charlie Faulkner. Almost gives him a bump that could have ended much worse than it does. They almost make contact. Joey Anderson has to back off just a little bit in order to not dump the leader of the race. He's gonna have to find a place to make a move again. Tammy Barrington now finally gonna make a move on the 15 of Brett Finley on the outside as they enter the final corner. She's gonna have the preferred corner, and Brett Finley goes wide. There goes Tammy Barton for 3rd place, and she's gonna slowly start to catch the 03 and the 85. Tegan Robertson having a fantastic run there, working her way forward in 9th place, with the 99 of Boyd Abbott in 5th, Brett Finley running 4th. Warren Majeski, using the undercut in his favor, finds himself in the 7th position on newer tires this time around. So the undercuts to put you in a better track position definitely work. You see Kendra Brittany right there battling inside the top 10. Kate Taylor in 8th place. 9th place is Luke Pellerin, despite the damage after swiping across the front end of number 1. Kristen Young working her way forward with Hibiki Murata. They make contact again, beating and banging on Moss Corner. You see their ride right there, Hibiki Murata without the front end, battling for position. What a race we are getting here in Mosport with the on and off rain. Becky Pellerin dropped behind with being forced to change tire, lost a lap, finds herself in 18th place, chasing down Rob Burton, who is also a lap down. Kendra Brittany right in front of them, battling with Caitlin Richler for position as well. And you see there as the rain is very much approaching. The rain is approaching, and Warren Majeski bites the bullet. He's gonna pit for wet tires now. He pits for the wet tires now as he drops to 10th place, and the dry tires start to slowly lose performance. Greg McLean follows suit a couple of moments later on the same lap as they open lap number 72. In the front of the field, Charlie Faulkner continues to lead. They are waiting and seeing if the rain begins, and the rain should be starting at any moment now. We're getting reports of rain already on the Clayton corner and Quebec corners, which is the other side of the track in relation to where we are. And as you see there, the rain has started. Tegan Robertson goes off wide, and what a shame. Tegan Robertson hits the tire barrier. She's gonna try to slide to get back into the pits. Robert Burton slows down. Emily Pauvin hits Robert Burton. Stan Gustafson's on the grass. Lily Briscoe's in the grass. And Mac Henley makes contact with Robert Burton into the tire barrier. Lily Briscoe, Saul Pritchett make contact. And Stan Gustafson hits the pit wall. What has just happened there? The 23 slowed down because of the 39. Emily Pauvin hit the 23 just slightly. Megan McDonald went through the grass. Mac Henley went through the grass as well, hit the wall, bounced into the 36 and went into the tire barrier. Then you see the 36 there as she gets hit by the number 8. That's who the 18 hit. And you see Stan Gustafson He sees the trouble, he goes into the grass, and I guess he lost all grip he had in that car. He hits the puddles and he slows down. The car aquaplanes, he can't control it. I guess some spring, something on the suspension of the car broke down. And this is gonna put Warren Majeski in a fantastic position. He pitted for the wet tires. Craig McLean did as well. They pitted before everyone else. And as the rain continues to get heavier and heavier under caution, this is what's gonna happen. The whole field's gonna pit. Because they need the wet tires. You see how strong the rains are on front of the camera. Heavy, heavy rain. And you see there how Majeski is gonna come around whenever he comes around. But yeah, there he is. There is Majeski. There is McLean. They're gonna take the top two positions. They're gonna find themselves in first and second on lap number 76 before the restart. But the weather is continuing to deteriorate very strongly. Continuing to deteriorate heavily. A lot of rain. And the fog would start to roll forward. And you see there how the asphalt's very wet. And you see how the conditions are pretty much undrivable. The pace car not turning its lights off. Warren Majeski finding himself in the lead. And then the red flag would be displayed for lightning on lap number 77 as the fog continues to roll in. Conditions get worse and worse. You're going to see how it happens at the end of lap 77. Look at this. This is undrivable. This is undrivable here in Mosport. And Warren Majeski is going to find himself to be in the right place at the perfect time. He undercut perfectly. Craig McLean is going to find himself in second because the rain would continue on. The lightning would continue to strike. And folks, this race will end before we complete 80 laps. Well, I don't think anyone was expecting this. I don't even think Warren himself was expecting this. In a very lucky break during the pit stop cycle, in which I believe they probably just wanted to fall down the field at a slower rate and try to snag a top 20 out of this when the weather dried. Then a cloud burst happens, and just as it happens, Warren Majeski and Torxon Racing get a win. Warren Majeski's first win in the Challenge Series, and Torxon's Racing third year with a win in the board. Because Joey Torxon won the race at the New York Auto Ring in 2017, and then he also won 3 more races in 2016 en route to his Rookie of the Year title. Majeski's not a contender for that so far, and he will need to bring a very, very energetic comeback to fight for it. But hey, I said that we were closer than not to a 4th rookie winner. I think now we can match or even surpass the 5 rookie winners record. Craig McLean, because he was also on the same strategy, gets second place. A very popular second place amongst the short track community here from Canada. Charlie Faulkner was likely to win this race. It was going to be him against Joey Anderson. They have to settle for 3rd and 4th. Demi Barnton 5th. Brett Philly, a fantastic run for a short tracker in 6th place. Boyd Abbott as well. He was undeterred, made very much use of patience to climb slowly. Could have finished this one in the top 5 if weren't the present circumstances. He gets a top 10. Likewise to Luke Pellerin and Kate Taylor. Very good results regardless of pit cycle or not. And Kendra Brittany able to climb from 40th place to finish in the top 10. So neat. Does get at the very least a top 10 out of a disaster class in qualifying, where 3 of the 4 cars did not make it to the show. After the Clarington 24/7, the championship looks like this. And that 3rd place must be stinging on every other contender, because Charlie Faulkner has opened 135 points against Luke Pellerin. And then 159 points over his son, who now falls from second to third. And then 171 points over Becky Pellerin. So you have an idea, when we left the Mosport Speedway, Charlie Faulkner had a 68-point lead. Rebecca Pellerin was 103 points behind. Look at how the gap has widened. Then you have Corbin Dempsey. Corbin Dempsey now is outside of title contention, now that we are showing you who has mathematical contention entering Talladega, accounting for the dual points. Because the Marlisle duos for qualifying will count for points. Okay? So here's the thing. Corbin Dempsey would be already outside contendership, so you have an idea. And look at how the gap has widened. It went from 175 points last week to 269 points this week. So things are looking very, very ugly for everyone that is trying to do a run-up on Charlie Faulkner. And that's not only on the Challenge Series standings. Because, remember, there's also the Legacy Cup. And the Legacy Cup now sees Faulkner leading with 4.33 in his average finish. Boyd Abbott has 8 exact, and Robert Burton has 8.33. Jamal Schmidt has fallen to 9.67. Everyone that had a direct chance to challenge Charlie Faulkner eye to eye is now hurting. So you have an idea, and we're gonna probably bring the scenarios back to you at Pocono. But for Boyd Abbott to win the Legacy Cup, he cannot depend on a tiebreaker. He has to finish 13 positions ahead of Charlie Faulkner. Robert Burton 14 positions. And Jamal Schmidt would have to finish 17 positions ahead, relying on a tiebreaker. So you have an idea. Because here's the thing. They both have the best result of 3rd place. However, Jamal Schmidt's second best result is a 7th place. Charlie Faulkner has a 9th place. So in the case both win, their best result is the same. Their second best result is the same. Jamal Schmidt wins on the 3rd best result. And all the people pictured in that standings board, you see, are mathematically contending. Okay, Joey Anderson is still mathematically available to win the Legacy Cup. However, he would have to win the race in Pocono, and Charlie Faulkner would have to finish 39th. So it's a very slimmer than slim shot to win the Legacy Cup for Joey Anderson, but he's still mathematically eligible. We can't eliminate him. Then there's also the Summer Series for $2 million. And it is even worse. Charlie Faulkner is the only mathematical contender for it. As of now, he's locking it. Depending on his performance at Flemington and Riley McKee's performance at Flemington, Charlie Faulkner could already lock the Summer Series. He would need only for the gap between him and Riley McKee to be above 80 points. If that happens, which would mean that he needs to finish 22 positions ahead of Riley McKee, then he has done it. He has won the Summer Series, and he has won the $2 million with 3 races to spare. However, these are not the only titles that are being contested. There are titles that Charlie Faulkner isn't racing for. For example, the Heat Rookie Challenge, where Tammy Barton now has opened a large gap to Kendra Brittany, as her finish in 5th place puts her with a 17th place average finish. And Kendra Brittany, despite the top 10, still has to deal with a 21st place average finish. Joey Anderson with a 21.13. However, they are fighting. They are still alive. They are just distant. Okay? They are just distant. And then there is also the Owners' Championship. The Owners' Championship right now is still very narrow between the people that can take over the 24th spot. Torgeson Racing with Warren Majeski's win now is 128 points behind the bubble, behind the cut line. Lookstar Motorsports with Drew K. Taylor is only 43 points behind. Zach Tech is in a position to maybe, with Craig McLean and Colin Kaiser, to be back with both cars inside the top 24. If that happens, they are very much going to have both cars qualify for all races guaranteed. And if the 30 car gets that berth, I don't think it's giving it back. Ronnie Samples did not have the result he wanted. Likewise for Peter Johnson. That means they are very near the cut line. They're under 40 points to the cut line. This could be a very precarious position for Ronnie Samples and Peter Johnson. But we're only gonna know how precarious it can be after the next race, which is gonna be in one of America's fastest short tracks, 1/5 of a mile in New Jersey, the Flemington Speedway, where NAAC returns to New Jersey for the first time in 5 years. I'll see you next time.